Welcome back to the FITTS SPSS Masterclass. In our previous lesson, we explored the concept of data distribution and learned that researchers should never rely solely on averages when trying to understand a dataset. We also discovered that two datasets can have exactly the same average while telling completely different stories. Today, we are taking the next logical step. We're going to learn how researchers visualize their data using one of the most important graphs in statistics, that is the histogram. More importantly, we will see how adding a normal distribution curve helps us compare our data with what a typical bell-shaped distribution looks like. Remember, our goal isn't just to learn where to click in SPSS. Our goal is to understand what the graphs are telling us. Well, every lesson in this course begins with a research question because statistics should always answer a question rather than simply produce numbers. Today's question is, how can a histogram help researchers understand whether their data appear to follow a normal distribution? At first glance, the histogram may seem like just another graph, but experienced researchers can learn a great deal simply by looking at it. They can identify where most observations occur, whether the data appear balanced, and whether the distribution resembles the familiar bell-shaped curve. And by the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to answer this question yourself. Today's lesson has four objectives. First, you will learn how to create a histogram in SPSS. Second, you will learn how to add a normal distribution curve. Third, you will compare your data with that curve. And finally, you will begin interpreting what you see visually. Notice that, as I said, begin, we are deliberately avoiding advanced interpretation today because we will cover normality testing properly in later lessons. Research is a journey, and we are building one skill at a time. Let's remind ourselves where we are in the research process. Every study starts with a research question. We design variables, collect data, enter and clean the data, calculate descriptive statistics. But today's lesson is going to focus on visualizing that data. Only after understanding what the data look like should we move on to testing assumptions and selecting statistical tests. Skipping this stage is like trying to diagnose a patient without first examining them. The graph is our first visual examination of the dataset. Before moving forward, let's briefly review what we covered in episode 11. We learned what a data distribution is and also explored why understanding distributions matters. We also created our first histogram, and today we're going to improve that histogram by adding a normal distribution curve. And this simple addition provides a useful visual reference and prepares us for the next lesson on normal distribution and normality testing. Think of today's lesson as upgrading the graph we created previously. A histogram is one of the most widely used graphs in statistics. Unlike a bar chart, which is typically used for categories, a histogram is designed for numerical data. It groups similar values into intervals, often called bins, and displays how many observations fall within each interval. And instead of looking at individual numbers, we begin to see patterns. Where are most observations concentrated? Are the values spread out? Does the data appear balanced? And these are the types of questions researchers ask when looking at a histogram. Now, let's add another useful tool, a normal distribution curve. The smooth bell-shaped line is not your actual data. Instead, it represents what a perfectly normal distribution would look like. By placing this curve over our histogram, we can compare our observed data with an ideal normal distribution. And it is important to understand that this is only a visual guide. At this stage, we are not deciding whether the data are statistically normal. That decision requires formal tests, which we will cover in a later lesson. Today, we are simply learning to observe. And whenever you look at a histogram, train yourself to ask four simple questions. First, where is the center of the data? Second, how spread out are the observations? Third, what overall shape does the graph have? And finally, do you notice anything unusual, such as isolated values or unexpected gaps? and these questions should become second nature. The more histograms you examine, the more quickly you will recognize meaningful patterns. Remember, good researchers don't rush to conclusions. They start by making careful observations. Let's move into SPSS and put today's lesson into practice. We will use the same dataset from previous lessons so that we can focus on learning the new feature rather than understanding new data. This time, we'll create a histogram and take the option to display the normal curve. And as we generate a curve, pay attention not just to the steps, but also to the purpose of each step. Always ask yourself why you are performing an action in SPSS. Software should support your thinking, not replace it. Now we have both the histogram and the normal curve on the same graph. Notice that we are not trying to force the data to match the curve perfectly. Instead, we are simply comparing them. Does the curve roughly follow the bars? Does the tails look similar? Is one side noticeably longer than the other? The observations provide valuable clues about the nature of the data. In later lessons, you will learn exactly how to interpret these differences. Today, your job is simply to become comfortable making visual comparisons. We are using the same dataset we've been using throughout this masterclass. And one reason I continue using the same dataset is so that we can focus on learning statistics rather than spending time understanding new data every lesson. If you're following along using your own dataset, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you have at least one numerical variable. Before we create any graph, let's quickly remind ourselves about the variable we'll be analyzing. And as we've always been doing, we're going to focus on the what? GPA, or our current grade point average. And notice that this variable is measured on a numerical scale. So when it comes to the variable view, you can see from here on a numerical scale. Okay. And if you accidentally choose a categorical variable, so I'll switch categorical variable like gender. Okay. SPSS won't be showing the type of the distribution we are trying to study today. So I want you to always ask yourself, is my variable numerical? If the answer is yes, then a histogram is usually appropriate. So within our data view, each row, as we know, represents one student. So row 1, row 2, all the way to row 10. And each value in the GPA column represents that student's current grade point average. And these are the values SPSS will use to build our histogram. And we've been through this a couple of times. So if we want to create a histogram, we move all the way to the graphs on the menu. We go to our legacy dialogues, and we move all the way down to histogram. This is not new to you. And because we are dealing with our current grade point average, I'm going to select that and move it into my variable section. So now what we're going to do from our differently from our previous lesson is to take this display normal curve. Then I'm going to hit on OK. Great stuff. SPSS has now generated our histogram together with a normal distribution curve. And before I explain anything, I want you to simply look at the graph. This is something experienced researchers always do. They don't immediately jump into interpretation. They observe first. Take a few seconds and ask yourself, what catches your attention? I want you to put it in the comment section. So let's begin with the colored bars. The bars are called the histogram, which we already know, and this is your actual data. And every bar represents a range of GPA values. The height of each bar tells us how many students fall within that range. For example, Where the bars are taller, more students achieved GPA within that interval. Where the bars are shorter, fewer students achieved those GPAs. So the histogram gives us a picture of how our observations are distributed. So let's look at our black, nice curve here, okay? And it's smooth. And this is the normal distribution curve. Notice how smooth it is compared with the bars. That's because this isn't based on individual observations. It is a mathematical model. And SPSS calculated it automatically using two statistics from our dataset, the mean and the standard deviation. Our mean is 3.39, and this tells us that if we average the GPAs of all 10 students, we would approximately get 3.39. And the next is the standard deviation, which is 0.379. And remember from our previous lesson that the standard deviation measures how spread out the data are around the average. And a value of 0.379 suggests that the GPAs are relatively close to the mean and not extremely spread out. And finally, we've got our n, which is equal to 10. And this simply tells us that our graph is based on just 10 observations. Whenever you analyze data, always pay attention to your sample size because it provides context for interpreting the results. Let's compare the histogram with a curve. Notice that the highest point of the curve sits around the middle of the graph. And that's exactly where we would expect it to be because the curve is centered on the mean. Also notice that the bars generally rise as we approach the center and become lower as we move away from it. The histogram isn't identical to the curve, and that's perfectly normal. Real-world data almost never produce a perfect bell shape. Researchers aren't looking for perfections. They are looking for whether the histogram follows the general pattern of the curve. And you might want to ask yourself this question, why doesn't it match perfectly? Yes, I understand. And the answer is that the curve represents an ideal mathematical distribution, and the bars represent real students. So real people don't produce perfectly smooth data, and different students perform differently. Random variation exists, and there is nothing we can do about it. And small sample sizes introduces even more variation, and that's why our histogram and the curve won't usually match perfectly. So what have we actually learned from this graph? Without performing any statistical tests, we've already discovered several things. We know the average GPA, we know how spread out the GPAs are, we also know where most observations occur, and we can compare our data with a normal distribution. And we can also begin thinking about whether the overall pattern appears reasonably similar to a bell-shaped curve. And that's a tremendous amount of information from a single graph. But here's something I don't want you to do. Don't look at this graph and immediately say, oh, my data are normally distributed, or oh, my data are not normally distributed. And this graph is only our first visual assessment, and it gives us clues. It does not give us a final answer. Formal normality testing comes in a later lesson. And as researchers, we always follow the same process. We collect the data, organize the data, and probably clean it, visualize the data, then perform statistical tests. And notice that visualization comes before hypothesis testing. That's why this lesson is so important. If you understand your data first, you'll make much better decisions throughout your analysis. Today, we've learned how to create a histogram with a normal distribution curve in SPSS. And more importantly, you've learned why researchers create this graph and how to begin interpreting what they see. And in the next lesson, we will explore one of the most important ideas in statistics. What is a normal distribution and why is it so important? Here's an important habit that every researcher should develop. Before running any statistical test, always examine your data visually. Graphs often reveal things that tables cannot. A histogram can quickly show unusual values, unexpected gaps, or patterns that might influence your analysis. Never underestimate the value of spending just a few minutes looking at your data. Those few minutes can save hours of confusion later. And many beginners make the mistake of relying entirely on statistical output. Experienced researchers don't. They combine numerical results with visual evidence. A graph, we know, tells part of the story, and the numbers tell another part. Neither should be interpreted in isolation. That's why I always say SPSS displays the data, researchers interpret the story. As you continue through this course, I want you to develop that mindset. And let's summarize today's lesson. You've learned what a histogram is and why it's one of the most useful graphs in research. You've seen how adding a normal distribution curve provides a visual reference for comparison. And most importantly, you've learned that visual inspection should always come before formal statistical testing. And this foundation will make the next lesson much easier to understand. And learning statistics requires practice. Open your own dataset or continue using the sample dataset we've been working with. Create a histogram, add the normal distribution curve, then ask yourself, where is the center of the data? How spread out are the observations? Does the curve roughly follow the histogram? Can you confidently describe the overall shape using your own words? And don't worry about getting everything perfect. The goal is to build confidence through repetition. In our next lesson, we will answer an important question. What makes a distribution normal? And you're going to learn the characteristics of the normal distribution and why it's so important in statistics and why many statistical tests rely on this assumption. Understanding the normal distribution will prepare you for formal normality testing and for selecting the correct statistical methods in your own research. Until then, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, don't just learn SPSS, learn to think like a researcher. And if you've not subscribed, kindly do. It helps us reach a lot more learners around the world.